Hey, what's up, guys? You're with the PlanetFight Podcast. It's March 31st, 2020. I'm Dip,
I'm Tuck.
and we got a lot to talk about. The dreaded topic of Khabib and Tony getting canceled for a fifth time. That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Like DC said, the fight is cursed.
Yeah.
The most
It's
cursed
awful.
fight ever. I knew this was going to happen. I mean...
It seems like we want it so bad, and that's why it's not going to happen.
Right. The worst part about this whole thing is, I think we're going to talk about it later on in the show, but I'm just bringing it up now to get out of the way, is just Dana hyping it up that it's going to happen and just getting my hopes up.
Yeah.
It just tears me down. And it's just like, and then Khabib left the country.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I understand.
I guarantee
why
Dana's fault too. That's Dana's fault too, because he's probably like, you know what, Khabib, we're going to do it in Abu Dhabi. It's easy. You can get there from Russia. Because Dana's behaving like a dickhead.
Right. I heard that Khabib went to Abu Dhabi first, and then when they found out that they were going to be restricted from traveling from there, they just decided to go home to Dagestan because they were going to just wait in Abu Dhabi because Dana told them that it was going to happen there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just wish... I saw DC and Ariel talking about it, and they were just saying, or Ariel said, like, why would you leave the country that Tony's in? Like, that's my kind of thinking in it. Like, I would want to be there, but then DC brought up the aspect of he's not only a fighter.
He's a father.
Yeah, he's a father, and he has a family, and this sickness is going around, so he wanted to get home to his kids, and that's completely understandable.
It's a Clash of the Titans-esque moment where you have, like, two fighters in their fighting prime. Tony's getting a little bit past it because he's getting older and older, and they keep shelving him. Right. But these dudes, they're still young. They're still ready to go. They're still at like the peak of their talents, and it's gonna, like, there's no way this fight can't deliver. This isn't gonna be one of those moments where we're like, Izzy and Yoel are just gonna look at each other. Like, this is one of those ones where, like, Khabib's strength here and his way to win lies in grappling. So they're going to have to force engagements, and that's where Tony's really good too.
Right.
I need this fight. I don't care, like, how long they have to postpone it. I don't care if you got to put them in, like, fucking hypo vacuum sealed containers to keep them safe until it happens. Just fucking shoot them up with steroids until that moment. Just let me see this fight, please. I need it.
I feel it. Yeah, Khabib leaving the country just, I don't know. It's frustrating as a fight fan, but I understand it.
Yeah. As much as we enjoy them for what they professionally do and the savagery that they bring, they're more than that. Like, they're actual people. We can't expect differently than we do. So
exactly. Yeah. Since we can't kind of, like, harp on the things we can't change, do you think they should move on with, like, Justin Gaethje and as a fill-in?
No, I mean, that's still a fight I want to see. Gaethje versus Tony is still like top 10 things, like, for the future, like, I need. But for Tony, professionally and, like, monetarily, legacy-wise, this makes no sense for him. Like, you have the fight you fought for and deserve. Don't pursue anything else just to stay busy. Like, I've seen you come off of long breaks and look better than ever. So ring rust isn't really a thing for him. It doesn't seem like he gets affected by that at all. Just wait. Just chill.
I agree.
You're going to get your hands on Khabib eventually. You might win the belt. Like, you have a chance for the title and for your pay scale to bump up dramatically. So don't take anything else. It would make
you see Tony's tweet saying travel bans can't stop me from kicking your ass. I love that guy, man. He's crazy.
He's so funny.
He's wild.
I think they could market the shit out of him as well.
I know, like, if he becomes champ. Well, he was champ at interim, right?
Yeah.
If he becomes, like, the real champ, like, if he beats Khabib,
yeah,
market him, especially with all this crazy training stuff and everything. I love it, man.
The thing is, I don't think Dana knows how to market fighters that are fucking weirdos. You know what I mean? Like, he couldn't market Benson Henderson. He couldn't really market Frankie Edgar, who are, like, two great, like, he could have made so much money off those dudes. He just doesn't know how. Or Stipe, like he doesn't know how to market Stipe. All he knows how to market is like trash talk and like best of all time shit. He can't market like a fighter being like just technically superior to everyone else. Really good dude. Yeah, exactly. Like he doesn't know how. It's super strange.
Right. Now, if they do have this card, do you want Gaethje and Tony? Say like this card's definitely happening with Tony. Do you want it to be Gaethje or do you want him to fight someone else?
I would just want him to pull off of it, honestly. I don't want him in it. I want him to wait. I want him to sit because he can like
Gaethje. Will he beat Gaethje?
I think so. Based on his length and what gives Gaethje problems, it's give and take too.
Right.
Because Gaethje doesn't really wrestle at all, even though he's a really great wrestler.
Great wrestler.
Yeah.
Right.
And even if you hurt him on the feet, it's not like he's going to take bad shots. And that's where Tony catches a lot of his submissions.
Right.
So you're left in between like whether or not Tony can like throw right straights and left straights and crack Gaethje at range. Because he's not going to fight in a phone booth with him. There's just no need.
Right.
So it's the two places he wins on the feet are like length and in tight elbows, cutting angles, which he doesn't do super well anyways because he's really like a blood and guts type fighter. So if he can make it to the third round, he definitely finishes Gaethje because his cardio is second to none. He just comes on stronger and stronger.
Crazy. I've heard so many stories from UFC guys saying like how Tony, they do like hours of workouts and then everyone will be like dead and Tony's still like hitting the bag and like going crazy. Like he will run mountains like constantly. He has crazy cardio.
Dude, and to be fair, there's nothing more terrifying than throwing everything in the kitchen sink at a dude and then like you come back for that next round or that next period or whatever sport
and he's fresh.
He's fresh and you're fucking like hyperventilating.
Right.
It's gonna be miserable.
And you see it a lot in his fights. He just overwhelms people. But he also he's not one of those guys that'll just keep the pressure on but don't do much damage. Like he hurts you and keeps the pressure on. That's why he's very impressive.
Yeah, like his fight with Anthony Pettis is a great point where Pettis was countering him really well and like technically just picking him to pieces and Tony was like, okay, I can't play this game with him. Let's do what I do. And he just stepped forward, bit down, and started pressuring him and winging shots. And you saw Anthony Pettis like really start to slow down and slow down and slow down. And like it's the same thing he'd have to do with Gaethje, where he has to check leg kicks the entire time. Like you can't let even a few because there's going to be so
powerful.
Yeah. So it's really whether or not he can bully Gaethje, and whether or not he can trap him against the fence and start like a grappling exchange. Because I mean he'll pull guard, he'll do some weird shit, and his guard is so gnarly that I would even recommend pulling it against Gaethje.
Just letting him have a false sense of security.
Yeah, like because he trains Eddie Bravo. And we don't really see a lot of rubber guard anymore because dudes really figured out how to beat it. But I don't, because dudes have adopted a better posture now. Whereas back in the day when you had like the lay and pray type wrestlers, that rubber guard really worked well because they would just put their head in your chest and you could start working those hooks and everything. Now dudes want to put us up and like hit you. It's just how the sport grows. For Tony, it's a great option for him in the fourth and fifth round when he has dudes exhausted and they take him down and they get to guard and they're like, okay, here's a break. Like, here's a position where I can rest. And he's like, not today, friendo. Like, this is where you got to sleep.
All right. So, Justin Gaethje, you don't want it. What about, like something like Masvidal? Because he made a tweet saying, I'm down, I'm ready. But I know Usman called some bullshit today saying that he called him out for a fight and all. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think Masvidal or Usman could fill in or something like that? Do they fight each other to save the card?
I don't. Once again, like for Masvidal, this is a chance at a title shot. I know, like everybody wants that, like I fight anybody, anytime, anywhere type personality.
For the BMF, son.
Yeah, but it's when you don't have a belt, you don't get paid shit. It's just how the reality of the sport. Like you don't make any money. Masvidal might be different because he has achieved like this level of stardom. I mean, he has a lot of things outside of the cage. The chance to fight for that belt and come prepared to win that belt, it's gonna make such a huge difference monetarily for him and make his life easier and his ability to support his kids and like get them through college and shit like that.
Exactly.
It's gonna set him. So if I was him, I'm not taking that fight on short notice. I want to show up prepared for the biggest fight of my life. I don't want to show up half-assed like 2 weeks of training camp.
Right.
At a catch weight of 175 pounds.
Even though Nate Diaz beat Conor on 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah. Literally the worst matchup possible for Conor.
Yeah, that was a terrible. He was so lengthy. Yeah. He was fighting up like 2 weight classes.
As big as Conor is for 155, Nate's fucking big.
Who was Conor supposed to fight?
Rafael dos Anjos.
Oh, yeah.
I really also don't like that fight for Conor, especially back then. Now I think Conor really.
Yeah, because he's like all jacked up on Irish steroids. Dude, Conor, compared to what he was at featherweight, he is ripped. Like, if you look at his featherweight build compared to what he looked like when he fought Cowboy, he looks shredded, bro.
Yeah, he just doesn't have to cut anymore. It's the thing. Like, he doesn't have any calorie restrictions now, which is where your body starts to feel healthy and where the muscle that your body can hold, you start to see it look healthier. So when you see his shoulders, and his shoulders have like a little more pop to him, and when you look at him at featherweight, you see like the creases in everything and like the striations in this part of his shoulders. Like that's a good sign for me that like you're very, very dehydrated and you've been cutting down on the nutrition that's getting into your body. Whereas when you see him now, they're a little more puffed out. You can see like some veins in them, and he's It's a sign that like his body is naturally holding on to more muscle now, because he's not doing these calorie restrictions and like these nutrition deficits. Yeah, he looks so healthy, especially at 170, but he's so small.
He's a big boy for being that little. So we were talking about Masvidal Usman stepping in for this UFC 249, but taking away the UFC 249, like just looking at their title fight, who do you think takes that one between those two? Do you think Masvidal has what it takes to take it from Usman or no?
Yeah, I mean, Masvidal is always going to have a chance in any fight just because of – it's the same thing as Conor. Like, Conor, for power and timing, like, through every round of every fight, he always has a chance to slip that one shot in and put you down. And Usman has shown the desire to stand and throw with people. Whether or not that was just because it was Colby and they fucking hate each other, who knows? Right. But Masvidal's talking a lot of shit. He's talking a lot of shit. I really don't enjoy it. Because it's one of those fights where they don't have to talk shit to sell it, you know?
Right.
They're legitimately probably the two best fighters at 170, and I would just like to see them fight. I don't need this cringe shit. This stuff.
Right. These acts.
My heart says Masvidal, but my head says Usman. I think Masvidal does have the ability to sleep him. His overhand right is so accurate, and then his switch kick to the body is also just so mean. That lead kick slides right up under that elbow so well. Usman really just like doesn't need to time it because he is so good with his upper body ties that he can just grab a hold of you, and it's like what Hickson Gracie.
Yeah.
Hickson, as a saying, is like, we start at 0, and once we go to 1, we're not going back to 0. And you can really see that in Usman's wrestling, where like he gets wrist control, not letting go of that wrist. Like he's not settling for anything that's not a position forward. So once we go to 1, we're not going back to 0. Once we go to 2, we're not going back to 1. Once we go to 3, you're ending up on your back, and there's not a lot of stuff you can do there. Yeah, my head says Usman though. I think Usman by decision, because Masvidal's not one to quit either. As much shit as they're talking and like calling each other bitches and stuff, they're both, they don't have quit in them. It's how it is. If you get to fight for a belt, you don't have quit in you. You don't get to this level being the dude who like starts getting beat up and is like, man, I'm done. Like that's not who you are as a person. Yeah, like these dudes are gonna come to throw down for 5 rounds. If somebody gets finished, they get finished. But I don't see either of them stopping throwing or stopping trying to win. I like that Usman also hunts a finish as a grappler as well. He's not one that is gonna like take off the pedal and stop beating you up. He's never gonna stop. Like when he fought Tyron Woodley.
Dude, that was crazy. He beat him in every aspect.
I know, and just started pushing him against the fence and just ripping body shots. He's like, you're going to quit soon, I fucking hope. And Tyron was just like, I can get beat up all day. I'm not going to quit. That's not who I am. But yeah, I think Masvidal, if he wins, it's a uppercut in the second round, timing a level change. If Usman wins, it's a 5-round decision of just a mauling, just a molly-whopping him, throw him all over the place.
Right. I think Usman gets the finish.
Yeah?
Standing.
Jeez.
Because I think because I think Masvidal is going to be worried about getting taken down.
And, the classic Khabib Conor. Yeah.
And except he's actually going to, Usman's power is crazy.
Yeah.
I think he can put him out. So before we wrap up, I know we've talked about Conor's build before, but where do you think Conor fits into all this with the fighting? They were talking about him fighting Gaethje. I know there were some reports saying that they were close to finalizing a deal with him and Gaethje, but now with all this new stuff happening, what do you think? What do you think's gonna happen?
I think the stuff with Gaethje is pretty finalized. I think the only thing that was stopping it was this Corona stuff. Mm-hmm. He's gonna fight Gaethje. That's what it seems like, and he should, because that's as far as legacy fights and legacy fights that put you on the just something that makes you last forever. That's one of them.
Right.
Because Gaethje's been called the most violent man in MMA, which is arguably the most violent sport in the world.
Right.
He's a buzzsaw, and I want to see that. And I think that's one that no matter how it goes, if Conor goes in there and fights him, and even if he loses, no one's gonna shit on him for that. It's right. Justin Gaethje. But right. I like his chances in there.
I do too.
Yeah, I like the things that Conor does well. You see Poirier did to Gaethje, and that's how Poirier won. The other thing is, I don't understand why Poirier isn't the backup instead of Gaethje, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, as much as I love Gaethje, he lost to Eddie Alvarez and Poirier, and then beat James Vick, Edson Barboza, and Cowboy. Those that's not a string of world beaters. Those aren't even top 5 dudes except for Cowboy. And Cowboy beat Ally Quinta to make the top 5. And I love Cowboy, but he's not challenging for that belt anytime soon. And he's not ever gonna beat Tony, Khabib, Conor. Yeah, he's he's at the point where he should retire, and he's just not going to because he loves it.
Yeah.
But Gaethje shouldn't be fighting for that belt yet. He needs something. He needs a stamp of something because he doesn't have it yet. He has these finishes over.
He beat Conor.
That's the thing. Yeah, he needs a win over Conor. That's his big fight. That might even be bigger than his Khabib fight. It's just what it is because it is Conor. But for Conor, I think that's one where he gets to loses valiantly,
right?
Or he gets to really show off who the fuck he is.
Dude, I think Conor pieces him up.
Yeah.
I think it looks like an Eddie Alvarez deal.
Yeah.
Eddie Alvarez beat Gaethje.
Yeah.
He beat him. So it's I'm not saying – I know Gaethje's gotten way better since then. Don't get me wrong. But I'm still saying you got to take that into consideration. Conor made Eddie Alvarez look like he shouldn't even have been in the same stadium as him or arena, whatever you want to call it. But I think people underestimate Conor's striking. I think we saw it with Cowboy.
Yeah, I think people are just used to all MMA striking, where sometimes you can land shots with pressure. You just can't do that with Conor. That's the way it is.
Right. And then another thing people don't get is the people Conor lose to, which it was only Khabib and Nate Diaz. Those guys are great on the ground. A lot of the guys that are usually finish guys on the ground that would go against Conor. Conor has great takedown defense, wrestling defense. He's pretty good at that. Even against Khabib, he did the best job taking the least amount of damage throughout the first couple rounds out of anyone. Even the wrestlers that went against Khabib, the known wrestlers, he did better than them. So
the only one
interesting fight against Gaethje.
Yeah, the only one I would argue who took less damage was Poirier, but Poirier exhausted himself doing it. And you saw Conor was just stabilizing and maintaining a safe position, being all right, we're here now. This is where we are. I'm not going to exhaust myself. He played it super smart, where Poirier was I got to get up, and he was exploding. Right. It doesn't work like that. And then when the third round came out, he was exhausted, just exhausted. The thing with Gaethje is, even though he's changed how he fights, he still has the exact same tools. He hasn't added anything different. His boxing
easy to read.
Yeah, I mean, the boxing is still not the most technical. There's no head movement. It's strong leg kicks, winging shots, and taking his head off the center line, and a jab. That's it. And I don't think the only way he can beat Conor is if he can survive the first two and let the pressure work its magic.
Right.
But that it's hard to survive that left hand when you're the one coming forward, because that's
especially that 175 version of Conor, man. He comes out like a bat out of hell. That was crazy.
Conor should be at 55. Let's not. There's no. Those boys are big. Like, imagine him versus Tyron Woodley.
I know. Need
that.
I know. He would have to be extra Irish roided up for that.
You know what I would love though at 170 is Wonder Boy versus Conor, just for a masterclass, because that would be.
Dude, Wonder Boy's a big boy though. He's
giant.
He's tall.
They're arguably the two best strikers in the sport. Like, because with two vastly different styles, where Conor has a karate style that focuses more on slipping and setting up his hands, and Thompson is like super weird question mark kicks and straights and keeping distance and bouncing back and forth.
Right.
Yeah, it's. I would love that fight. That'd be so fun. I think Conor beats Gaethje though, with everything that's going on. Gaethje hasn't fought in so long.
I agree. I think Conor knocks him out in the first round.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens. I think Gaethje gets over excited, misses, and Conor slips one of them like lefts or something like that, and it's over. But
my dream fight for that division, which I think also is a great legacy fight for Conor, just to like put a stamp on it, is Dustin Poirier versus Conor again.
Again, the rematch. Dustin Poirier wants that.
and he's gotten so much better.
Right.
And his boxing has evolved so much, and it's such a vastly different style than Conor's, where he's focusing so much on head movement and rolling and stepping into the inside. And his like switch stance step in, where he rolls and steps and builds ground, trying to trick you into not moving. It's so cool. It's so fun to watch. And yeah, they're also like two dudes that get under each other's skin genuinely. Like it's not going to be like this Usman Masvidal bullshit shit talk where you're like, okay guys, I need you to stop. This is screaming at each other across like 17 security guards isn't what I want. It's not cutting it for me. And I think if Conor beats Gaethje and Tony and Khabib they're going to have super long playoffs. Let's just be honest. It's how those fights go.
Right.
If it goes how we think it does, where Conor blows through Gaethje, and since Dan Hooker and Dustin Poirier fell apart, just set up Dustin Poirier Conor after he blows through Gaethje. That's what I want. It'd be really nice.
I don't know. I think Conor wants that belt, son.
I know, but I don't think he's gonna. I would love an interim title fight with Poirier, because like Khabib and Tony, depending on how badly they beat each other up, and depending if like Tony subs him in the first or someone gets knocked out and like doesn't take a lot of damage, I just don't see that happening though. They're both tough as shit, and it's not a fight I don't think people are gonna get beat up in. The same as like when Usman fought Colby, like. Both of them, no matter who won, is getting a super long, like 6-month suspension. I'm expecting a 6-month suspension for them too. So hopefully we can put together a bunch of fun fights at 155, maybe for an interim.
I don't
really like interims. I can see it happening.
You just need Khabib in the U.S. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
right. Yeah. To wrap it up. John Jones.
Like a moron. God damn it, dude.
In all seriousness, though, I hope he gets some help.
Yeah, me too.
It's just one of those things where I feel like it's a lot deeper than a lot of people think it is.
Yeah.
Like there's something worse that we don't know about. Like he had they said there was like a gunshot or something like that they responded to, and he lied, and he was all drunk, high, had weed, liquor, Masvidal's liquor.
Yeah. Was it Requerzo? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, it's sad, man.
Just a tequila sponsorship real quick.
Right. Yeah. Shout out Masvidal. Let's get that.
And with the stuff with John Jones is at the point where it's no longer him just being like an idiot. This is like a mental health problem.
Yeah, this is something wrong. Something's very wrong that you can be in such, like, you're the champ, you're in seemingly such a good place.
Mm-hmm.
But even we see from like Tyson Fury, like he says he struggles every day still with mental health. He still has like demons and thoughts of like suicide and bad things, even being the champ, even being like back, he climbed back to the top and still has those thoughts.
Yeah.
So I can imagine if like maybe John's never gotten help for it or anything like that, where he just keeps letting it go. And I just hope he gets help, because he literally is probably one of the greatest athletes. He probably is the greatest athlete we've seen in the sport.
Yeah, it's true. I just think for him, the idea of being mentally weak is such a stigmatized thing, especially with like his family. It's sad, man.
Right.
It's so sad, because his path could have been so different.
So different, dude.
Yeah.
If he would have just stayed out of trouble, and I think people would have been looking up to him more as a role model, you know, like he would have been able to have been marketed better, you know, as a champ. All he's really known for, I mean, he's known for his fighting, but unless you're like to casuals, he's known for his nonsense, to be honest. It's not, but it's just sad to see him.
Yeah, you diehards
over again making the same mistake.
Yeah, diehards don't support him, and that's where it gets him into trouble. That's where he's not selling pay-per-views anymore, because nobody wants to, like the end-all be-all, like favorite fans aren't going to be like, you know what, I'm going to give my $60 to that. They're going to stream it because it's not like,
because you want to watch him, but it's not worth that.
Yeah, like it's I don't want to watch this douchebag beat up a dude at 205 that shouldn't be in there with him.
Which, by the way, he lost to Dom Reyes.
True. Like they're talking about booking him with Jan Blachowicz, and I'm not going to pay to see that. I'm just not. I might not even watch that. Go to bed and wake up the next day and rewatch it on ESPN Plus while I work out. Like it's a combination of things. It's him being a douche, and it's the people he's been fighting. Chael Sonnen at 205, Vitor Belfort at 205. Come on. Like it's not.
Right.
He's the greatest of all time, but he wiped that division out, and then Dana couldn't figure out how to market him, and that's just what it is. It's just
right.
DC being good guy DC though was like, I'm not gonna celebrate this. This is a man who's in trouble, and we should support him.
Yeah, shout out DC.
Yeah, what a good guy. Give him that heavyweight rematch with Stipe.
Give it to him. It was a fluke.
Yeah, I think DC wins that too, so I need to see that.
But. I want him to win.
Yeah.
But all right, let's wrap it up. You're with the Planet Fight Podcast. Everyone stay safe. Stay inside.
Yeah.
I'm Dip.
I'm Tuck.
And we're out.